Good morning, UPBOpsMillionaires.com on this Thursday, September 13, 2018. Go over some charts here, some stocks, where the market's headed here, short to medium term. You can see we've broken up over this resistance. If you look at the chart I posted last night, the blog post I did at OpsMillionaires.com, we had a nice rounding pattern here. Starting to break out of it. That 2,900 level remains in focus here for S&P 500 futures, but I think it's ultimately going to lead us to new all-time record highs for the S&P 500. You can see after we pulled back from record highs, a nice deliberate pullback to start September. And remember, something like 3 of the last 24 months have been red for the market. Yes, so the odds of September being a red month, slim, very slim. And you can see we're already starting to reverse those losses. I think we're going to head to new all-time record highs. I was talking about the VIX as well. And, you know, we got some upside in the VIX to start August. Well, we got some of it to start September. But all in all, this wonderful wedge pattern with the support level at that just about 10 level you saw at the start of August. I think that's where we're heading, and that also points to more upside for the stock market. How about some individual names? Facebook, you know, this is a line I drew years and years and years ago when Facebook, actually years and years ago, but you know, even before Facebook was a $100 stock, and this line has been really a point of interest to support ever since. And you can see we came down to it, and we've come down to it again. I think it's a great support line. I think ultimately we're going to see another sharp reversal like we saw when we hit it back in April. And then ultimately, if we break above this shorter term resistance support line, I'll move back up to 195 for Facebook. So keep an eye on that. As far as the long's concerned, I think we're going to start reversing on Facebook, possibly as soon as today. Some names to watch. I continue to talk about GameStop. You can see GameStop in this gray box really illustrates, if you go all the way back to a, gosh, what is that, a 12-year support line for GameStop, and each time it's come down to support. 2006 rocketed higher, 2012 rocketed higher, and here we are in 2018. We hit the support, and look at this beautiful candle here we have for the month for GameStop. You see a beautiful move after its earnings report, also rumors of a buyout. We have Sycamore and Apollo. An auction for the buyout. Ongoing, we'll see what happens. But again, we got a nice momentum buy signal. And as I talked about even before the move started back in early summer, I think the stock's going to head back over $20 a share. Possibly, up to 28, 31. We'll see. But right now, 20 is the target here. I got some calls for October, looking possibly to add some more. And we'll see what the action does the next couple of weeks here. See if we get a buyout. I think you know, the latest rumor from Deal Reporter was we're in, you know, advanced stages. So certainly a lot closer to some sort of resolution to that buyout than we were back when the rumors started flying around in June. TXMD here, you know, I got some calls for October, December, and went out to 2019. I think we're going to break out of this pattern here. Once we hit the 750 level, it's going to be a nice move to the upside, just my opinion, of course. And if you look at the stock the last 5 years, see pretty much been, you know, what, a 9, you know, some spikes to the upside. But for the most part, a lot of the body of action has been between 550 and 750. So if we can break over that 750 mark, guess what? Just reported yesterday, 61 million shares are short this stock. A new all-time record high. And established, the most recent shorts have been established at prices below what we're trading at today. So the higher this stock goes, the more shorts are going to be underwater. And I think if it breaks back into double digits, we're going to see a really nice squeeze to the upside. Hey, you know what? They're betting for 0, and I'm betting for upside. So we'll see who wins that one. And you know, if, again, you look at some of the high short interest stocks. Some of these shorts are in, you know, from really high prices, like here at 11. How many people actually shorted the stock here at 11? Probably not a lot. But if you would say, all right, well, maybe the shorts are all in at 11, all 60 million shorts. And you say, all right, we're down to 650, or they're betting for 0, they're still up significantly. But I think a lot of shorts, you know, are even on a trade, if not underwater. And the higher the stock goes, I think we're going to, you know, catch some more buying pressure. But to me, this is not a short squeeze stock. That's not why I'm long. We have 3 possible FDA approvals, 2 of which have already come this year. Third one at the end of October. And the Imvexi, now we got the 4 microgram dosage coming out, just announced this morning. It's the only, the lowest dose available, FDA approved. And I think it's, you know, the turning point for the stock where meaningful revenue is starting to come. And, you know, we're getting in, you know, all the longs have been waiting all these years for what is occurring this year. And guess what? The stock price is exactly where it was 4 years ago. So, you know, as I said previously, it's almost like we're cutting the line. Mosaic, if you look from a long-term chart perspective, look at this breakout. Love this breakout. I think we're going to head back up to 40, 45, 50 heading into 2019. So I got the December calls. I might look out to 2019. I'll let you know in the chat room. Vitamin Shop continues to work. Look at this move. We're consolidating. We got a nice buy signal. Remember this bull flag back in the 7s and the 6s? Well, here we are now. We're forming some more consolidation here. 13.25, so we're 70 cents off the 52-week high we hit. And you could just see, I mean, just look at it. It's almost like a piece of art here. You just know what's going to happen here with the price action. We're going to come up to fill this second gap. I've been talking about it when it was a $7 stock. But I thought ultimately it was going to come hit the second earnings gap. We're head up to $20 a share. Still holding November calls. I might look to add some going into 2019 as well. And I got Big Brother, formerly Big Brother. I think VSI is the Big Brother now. But GNC, you can see it's broken down. Priced pretty much for a negative resolution. They're supposed to get bailed out. So I think there's a good chance we're going to see the exact opposite go against the consensus here and what the market's saying. Heavily shorted stock as well, almost 40% of the float. And I think it's going to turn around here. $3.50, maybe $4 a share. You can see we kind of found a base here, just under $3. The selling looks to have abated. Looking at just recently, I mean, a year ago it was a $10 stock. We're down to $2.89. And, you know, I don't think is it any coincidence? Vitamin Shop started its rally when it was in the high 2s. And it recently traded almost $14 a share. So GNC, I could see maybe a double, possibly even more than that. And its earnings report wasn't so bad. It's just the massive amount of debt hanging over the company that's kind of holding it back. But I think a good risk reward. Got some December calls. Continue to watch Switch here. Like this for a long-term trade. Right now I'm in the October calls. Love this earnings gap to get filled. We're starting to curl back up again. Think it's going to happen. If you look at short interest for Switch was really high. Actually, the shorts are starting to cover. Had some insider buys recently, so pretty bullish on the stock. We'll see the price action right now. Not following through, but I think it will eventually. Tesla been beaten down, and you can see these support resistance lines that I've had for Tesla. We did not come down to support. That would have been a nice buy point at 240. But guess what? We're back in the channel of love here, and you remember Tesla. Look at these moves. These were all monthly moves, sharp monthly moves. We're back in September. We got a nice buy signal here. Just like we got the buy signal in August. We're going to get a good spike up into the 300s. This might be a name to play for a short term. You know, the options have been very expensive for Tesla, but we get into the end of the week, maybe later on in the session today or early tomorrow at the opening bell to get some lot of calls for a possible push. We've seen a lot of really sharp moves on Fridays for Tesla previously. How about First Solar really beaten down? I know I talked about this when I'm in the calls, a failed trade. But if you go back to support here, back into 2017, we're getting a little bit of action here off this level. So keep an eye on First Solar. We know how explosive it can be. You look back in the fall of last year, we were right around this level. We sprang to the upside and did not look back till we hit almost $82 a share, something like that. And of course, it was a pretty almost 50% reversal to the downside. But just knowing that the price action can reverse in a sharp fashion. The options are very inexpensively priced for First Solar because why? It's been trading pretty much sideways for the last 4 months. So First Solar might go out to next week or next month. We'll see. This morning, the Chinese ADRs are catching a bit. I've been talking about this for a while. The Chinese ADRs have been swirling down the toilet with the Chinese stock market. However, I talked about this in the chat room yesterday, just before the trade talks were supposed, you know, we had that possible meeting scheduled with China, and that helped push the Chinese ADRs higher. I was talking about the swirling down the toilet, but also that these stocks have been kind of like in a pressure cooker. And the minute that tweet comes out or that news, that pressure is going to be released. And you saw it with IQ yesterday up 7%. And if you look IQ from a long-term perspective, still in this wedge. You know, out of all the Chinese ADRs, I think this one probably has the most, you know, potential for an explosive move higher. On the flip side, we've had a NetEase, which has been absolutely clobbered through support. You know, this one might see a bounce up to maybe 210, but the long-term outlook, and you know, I saw a post on Seeking Alpha. You know, I take a lot of what's written with a grain of salt, but some interesting, you know, you would never know some of the stuff that people write about. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of research that goes into a lot of these posts, and you know, there's been regulation now in the gaming industry for NetEase, and I think that's been weighing on shares. Somebody posted on Seeking Alpha the other day, nice long, you know, looks highly researched post saying that everyone's wrong about that. So I guess we'll see. You know, the price action is doing the talking right now. And so if you look at NetEase, this looks like you know, an ugly topping pattern. So I guess basically if you're looking for a reversal for the Chinese ADRs, NetEase might be one just to continue to avoid. IQ looks a lot better for a move higher. And BABA under this 170 level. Look how bearish this one looks. Look bullish here on this flag once we broke through it. Bearish. So it's another one, as much as you want to sit here and buy it, maybe it'll go up $3, $4, $5. If it doesn't get back over this 170 level, just, what's the point? So again, the IQ pattern, much more bullish than some of these other names. Baidu also. Great breakouts. Remember these charts I posted years ago? Great breakout. Broke out again. This time we're breaking down. So it's another one. Kind of bearish looking. Until it gets bullish, why get into the bearish looking chart? And finally, let's look at Twitter. I love this stock for upside. I'm not going to lie to you. I was in some calls recently. Did not work out well. And you can see the action here. As much as I want the stock to go higher, some sort of a topping pattern here over the 2-year daily chart. It's not clearly defined, but certainly we have some sort of a shoulder, a high, and then we're back here again and we're rolling out of it to the downside. Social media has been destroyed. Snap is down in the 9s, was in the 8s yesterday. So again, Twitter, as much as I want to, go long this stock, you're catching a falling knife here. Maybe we'll get a bounce today, but until this pattern kind of settles out and when the dust settles, maybe we get a reversal to the upside. It's tough being long Twitter. Again, I posted the Facebook chart. So if you want to get long social media, Facebook, right off of support here, and then bide your time. Take your profits on Facebook when it gets up to 175 and roll them into Twitter. Maybe by that time it's bottomed out. All right, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. S&P 500 futures higher to start the trading session. NASDAQ futures. Let's look at NASDAQ futures. The VIX, by the way, down in the 12s, down 4%. NASDAQ futures up 0.5%. Are we pulling back? I thought we were higher than that just a little bit ago. No, we're actually spiking. More spikes to the upside. You can see the move here on some sort of data released. I'll have to check it out. But all right, UPB, there it is, a CPI. All right, I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. Everyone have a great trading day. Goodbye.